Here we go with part 2 of my N-scale layout. Done a little bit more since my last video diary here. As you can see, I've got the basic shape of the layout down. Just go back so you can have a bit of a look here. So this will be the staging. I'm not really fussed how this looks because it's going to be out of public view, but I'm just sort of using up bits of track that I've got here. That'll probably extend back out here a little bit further. I might even use this area for a bit of a workbench, not sure yet. That's just the other end. I'm just messing around with a bit of track that I got left. Just coming around the back here. This is the first section coming up. Now this back part around here is going to be all elevated. It's actually a two-level effort, but it took me a couple of days just to get all this Kato track set up in the shape basically of how Steve Williams' layout is. A lot of the angles I can't do exactly because obviously he's using flex track and I'm using Unitrack. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. I've got a feeling that I'm going to modify this a little bit more insofar as the curves and so forth, because his was HO and mine being N scale. I can't get that nice smooth line going around the corner. I'm going to resist all temptation to to throw all this Kato track out and go back to Pico because of things like these turnouts, which are just brilliant. They just work. I don't want to be playing around drilling point motors all over the place, and when I start making this on a second level here, this is what I learnt from my previous layout, that trying to put point motors underneath and leaving them serviceable is just a pain in the arse, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so she comes around the back here and around and up and back around, going into the yard, which I haven't finished yet for two reasons. One, I've run out of track, and two, this back section of the layout, this board that goes in here, it didn't fit, so I'm just redoing that as a different size. You can see I've got a walkthrough down here. This section, this straight all the way down, on Steve's layout is hard up against the wall and he has to have little holes to access it. I thought I'd go one better than that. I'm still going to have a partition up here, but I'll be able to just walk down the back and access this at any time. It also means, I think, some of my longer passenger trains, I can actually put them on here if I want to. I had to do a lot of moving around. You can see this is my slot car track I'm sort of doing at the same time. There's going to be a freight track there. Now, problems that I'm going to be facing so far is the background and the partitions that go through. This is what I've got, these little boards here. These were left over from my other layout, and I want to try and recycle where I can. Now, to give you an example, if we have a look up here on Steve's diagram, you can see he has a track coming around like this, and there's a board that goes around into the background, and I got a picture here on his was kind enough to send me of how that looks. Okay, so that corresponds to that picture there. I'm just not sure how far that goes back. And the other thing I've got too, if you'll notice from back here, this part of the table here is 52 inches, the next table is 48 and the bottom one's 44, so it does come up on this gradual rise. But I'm only 5'10", and I tell you, it's a bit hard to reach over here now. So I'm figuring I might even lower absolutely everything by another 2 inches, but I'll think about that. But back to my problem, if I get this bit of board here, just bear with me, I'll put that up the top. And that's sort of, okay, that's sort of roughly where it's going to go, really roughly. So you can see that there. So that would be this board going across here, you can see the height. I reckon that's going to be way too high for end scale. Even though this is going to have a bridge and scenic and all that sort of stuff, I'll probably end up bending this board back some, like that, in that sort of shape. But even so, that's only going to go back about 2 foot. And if you have a look from this side, like that sits up pretty high. So I don't know, maybe I'm thinking I'll cut that down through the middle like that, and maybe not have it as high. I'm just going to think about that for a while. So that's about it. My next stage is going to be to get some more track, which should be getting here this week. Get the corner going in there, and then go right around the whole track and just check some of these angles, which I'm not real happy with. You see, I've used a bit of super elevated track too where I can. I'm not too worried that it looks kind of weird at the moment, because once I ballast it all and scenic it all, you won't be able to tell. Well, not much anyway, not from a distance. So once I get that, the next stage would be to put some power in it and start running a few trains around, just to see if we can find any problematic spots. So till next time.